Hi Gemini, welcome to your end of March 2017 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Before I lay out the cards, I just wanted to say that you're going to have at the end of this month that Venus retrograde, and it's going from your 11th house of hopes and wishes to the 10th house of career. So those two areas are going to be touched by Venus going over that, reviewing, what it is that you really want and, what is important to you in these areas. And sometimes, people want to marry their hopes and wishes, their ideal life with their career. You don't have to, you can just use your talents, obviously, and it may not be everything, the end all be all of what you want for your future. You may be willing to have that separate. For instance, you may love to do music, but you don't necessarily want to become a professional singer. So you're content to having those things separate. But then other people, they may want to have it all together. And these issues may come up. And you're going to have a new moon in your sector that deals with hopes and wishes. So that can be really cool for manifesting things like that. Because I didn't realize this, but they say it's the luckiest house, the 11th house. So I'm doing a modified Celtic cross spread. Same amount of cards though, which I think is 10. And this is, I think I said it was a general reading, a general focus. A lot of Cups cards. So for some people, it may be a love reading. And by the way, if you're interested in just a pure love reading, I will be having those coming out probably at the end of next week. So keep your eyes peeled. The overall theme is the World card for you at the end of this month. So this is like an ending, a chapter for some reason. It doesn't mean that you're going to be getting divorced or walking off the job. The ending of an era, sometimes there's like an event, just an idea in your head where okay, this is done with now. But there may be the actual actions that have to take place. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that you're aware that you're in this transition, but you still haven't actually transitioned. And it could be in your love life, it could be in your work life. Let's see, by looking at the other cards, what else they say. So, the challenge card is the Two of Pentacles. In career matters, this can be, it could be that you're choosing between two jobs. One of them may be overseas, and you're like, okay, not sure. If I want to stay, if I want to go, who knows? Maybe you'd rather go than stay here because you're a Gemini. Geminis often have two of everything, two lovers, two jobs, and that's what this card can represent too. Somebody who is juggling two different jobs. If that's the case, this is the challenge position. So you may be spreading yourself too thin, and that's creating a little bit of chaos in your personal life. Maybe you can't do anything. Maybe if you're working so much, you don't have time for romance. Or if you're already in a relationship, it's suffering because of that. Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't think of this. The World card can mean that you're going to be traveling. Hello, the World, get it? And so you may be like, I'm not sure if I want to go. But it can be personal relationships that are kind of winding down, and for whatever reason, you're ambivalent about that. And so I'm going to keep going, and we'll see why that is. This is the root cause. 5 of Wands. This could be with a fire sign. I really think of Aries when I think of combative energy like this. Leo, Sagittarius. But possibly Sagittarius. Sagittarius is your opposite sign. So sometimes opposing signs have that clash because they're kind of, the opposition can be a hard angle. For some reason in relationships, I never see it being called bad to be with your opposite sign, but it's kind of bipolar. In any case, it can be a competitive energy. Being with somebody that it's not harmonious. There always seems to be some kind of back and forth between you, squabbles, or downright, what do they call those when it's like a knockdown dragouts? Hopefully not physical, but, bad arguments a lot. Or just bickering. But this is like, when it's like fiery, it can be ego clashes. So you could be kind of like duking it out in terms of like who's the alpha male, even if you're a woman and you're with a guy, or even if you're a woman with a woman, who's the alpha male, to that masculine energy. That's what the wands represent, masculine energy. So it's like kind of jockeying for position, who's going to be in control of the relationship and stuff like that. It just can feel like it's not harmonious, and that can be a bummer. And you're wondering, like, am I going to ever find the person that I'm meant to be with? Am I always going to be in these contentious relationships? One thing to keep in mind, Gemini, is that you need to be in a relationship with somebody that you have basic compatibility with. So it could be that you just do not understand one another at a fundamental level, that you're so different that it's almost like an unbridgeable gap between the two of you. Now, this is a card to represent the recent past. We have the Tower card. So it sounds to me like for some people there may have been this, unexpected revelation or event that set everything into motion. And the typical one would be some kind of infidelity, finding out something about somebody. In the workplace, this, I should have, mentioned that this is a card of a competition. And this may be why, you may be wanting to leave a certain job because you don't like that environment. But that Tower card would mean something, that you did not expect to happen. And the big one would be, maybe you lost another job and then now you're at a place that's very competitive and you just don't like that atmosphere. Or within the job itself, you were demoted, or somebody else took a promotion, or you was given a promotion that you thought you had in the bag. And that was a shock to you because you just assumed that you were the go-to person, and it was like that. It didn't happen that way. Just realize that all of those kinds of scenarios, if that happened to you, that you can't give away your power to another, to an outside entity, even an employer, to determine for you, your goals in life, because that's office politics. And that's one of the ways that I think they control people and make them, that this whole thing of like fighting for the scraps. It reminds, I know this is totally, it's not really off topic, but I don't know if anybody is interested in this. I'm going to say it anyway. In Chicago, they have this museum, the Mexican Museum of, the National Museum of Mexican Art, in a neighborhood in Chicago called Pilsen. And it's one of my favorite places to go. I love the type of art that is in this museum. And there's I think it's a permanent exhibit. And the title of it is something like Fighting for Crumbs in the Bread Factory. And it shows a bunch of workers. And they're all like just fight. And that's what this card is. It's like fighting for crumbs in the bread factory. And they get you to compete so that you have this sense of always having to prove yourself, because that puts you on the defensive. And that is kind of a way to weaken people's feelings of self-esteem, really. So just remember that, because you never know, when you're going to finally just say, I'm not interested, I don't care, I don't have to prove myself anymore. And then in the near future we have, well, wait a minute, I should say, I don't think I did this one. I think I've been forgetting to do these cards. This is the current situation for you. The Page of Pentacles. This could indicate that you hear from an employer. Maybe you hear about another job. Maybe that's connected to this. Maybe you've been waiting to hear from this other place about whether or not you can work there. And so that could be saying that that's what's happening right now. You could be... Some people may even decide that they're going to go back to school for whatever reason. Because the Page of Pentacles can indicate a student. Or maybe that's what you're doing. Maybe that's what the Two of Pentacles is representing, you being a student and working at the same time and trying to balance that. But it could be that you're hearing a message. And remember that if you're listening in the earlier part of March, that this is for the mid to the end of the month. So it could be something in your future. And then this is for the near future, the Knight of Cups. This could be that if this is somebody else, this could be somebody who is, if you're working, let's say you do decide to do that, that could be somebody who is on your side. So this is like kind of a compassionate influence, maybe a coworker, maybe, I don't know if it would be a supervisor, because it's somebody maybe even younger than you who takes you under their wing. In love relationships, this could be kind of that very sensitive lover, artist. I've been getting that card over and over again, so apparently a lot of people are looking for that in their lives. And if that is a romantic, if these cards resonate for you romantically, Gemini, then the Page of Pentacles could be you hearing from somebody who is of the earth element, even. So this would be a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo individual. Virgo is a good bet. But if that's the case, it could be that this person is your knight in shining armor, and that's why you're getting the Knight card. But that's maybe you're going to see another facet of relationship, because I had this with another sign where it was like the other, it wasn't fire, it was air, which is kind of can be very verbally sharp and blunt, and not diplomatic and maybe hurtful. And this is more of a ego clash. And so this person is going to be a lot more gentle. It's going to be kind of like soothing your soul. Right now, your consciousness is like the King of Cups. So you have, you may be opening your heart, which for you is significant, but in a mature type of way, not in a childish kind of a way. Sometimes the night is more, it is more of an immature expression of the energy. And the king is the ultimate, person in control of themselves. So emotionally they have it together, and that may show that this person brings that out in you. For the workplace, the King of Cups can also indicate having a boss who is compassionate. Maybe you were in a workplace where the boss pitted one against the other, and that created the competitive environment, maybe like playing favorites. This kind of a boss would have knowledge of, psychology or a sensitivity to know not to do that kind of thing, because they wouldn't want people to feel bad, like that they liked somebody else more than they liked them. The boss would be aware of those kind of emotions underneath the surface, kind of lurking, and not feed into that. The outside influence is the Four of Cups. So you may be dealing with indifference, and in your private life, this may be exactly what spurred you on. You may realize that, and this is what I was saying about the Tower card, is that it's like kind of like these realizations that the other person has checked out. And it may not be personal, and that may be what you have to kind of work to convince yourself of. That it's not that the person it's not a reflection on you per se, but they may not be happy with their life. This can be a card of like dissatisfaction. And I would even say depression in some cases, where it's like nothing makes them happy. And that kind of an influence can be depressing. So if you're around it in any fashion, whether it's in the workplace or in your private relationship, you really have to get a handle on understanding how detrimental it can be to be around people that are negative. And it's not really negativity in that kind of complaining way. It's just not being satisfied, and that comes across in the, like for instance in the workplace, it comes across as shoddy workmanship. People who mail it in, who are just kind of going through the motions, but they're not really that into it. Also, for love life, be careful of being too much in that mindset yourself that you don't see when somebody is, offering you love. Maybe you're so jaded by past experiences that you're kind of like turning your back on someone. It could be like a water sign individual, as I said before, just like this card. So it could be like that's coming in for you. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And you may be like so cynical that you just, I think for some of you it could be Cancer actually, because this is a card that's the higher message. So the higher message may be go for the Cancer. Go for this Cancer person over the fire sign, over the Aries. And, you know, typically I don't encourage Geminis to go with water signs because I feel like, you know, you will be too incompatible emotionally, that, you know, the other person will demand things of you that you don't want to give. But that, you have to look at things on a case-by-case basis, obviously. There might be a Cancer person who has a lot of Gemini in their chart. And that sun sign in Gemini in Cancer is just enough to make them be a little bit more emotional, and they can help you. I think that this person can help you get in touch with your feelings and, you know, be more satisfied. You know, maybe you've like kind of like tuned out because you haven't met the right person and you're like tired of all this incompatibility. And you would like to meet the right person, but you just haven't. And then we get for the outcome, which is kind of interesting, is the Two of Cups. So reuniting, and it feels so good. That could be one possibility. And again, we have the Mercury or the Venus retrograde, so that can bring up people from the past. There's another two. The second two in this reading. It wouldn't be a reading for a Gemini if there weren't multiple twos. The duality. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I'm, you know, on the right track with this, but if you notice the Roman numeral for two, that really looks like the Gemini symbol. The only difference is that Gemini has those two lines, you know, on the top and the bottom. So I'll have to check that out. But that would be kind of interesting if that was, you know, based on the number two. But you might be reuniting with someone. It could be that you're committing to somebody, committing to a partner. Maybe you were kind of on the fence, and maybe that's what this was. Maybe you were on the fence because you were still kind of protecting your heart. You weren't sure. And now you're like, yeah, I think this is the direction to go in. This person, I think, is the right bet. You know, maybe you were skeptical that this person and you could even see eye to eye. But maybe you needed to get to know them to the point of seeing how they have come through for you and helped you become a better person. And, you know, as I said before at the beginning of this reading, I think this is a time of transition for you, Gemini. You're going from one thing to the next. And life is messy. It doesn't just unfold in nice, neat little segments. So you may be having a lot of things going on at the same time. Obviously, I mean, it's a bit silly to think that all of this stuff is jam-packed 2 weeks. That, you know, ending on the 31st, and all of this stuff is going to be over with. I'm just looking at this as possible themes for you. And, you know, for any kind of a work situation, you could end up partnering with somebody, maybe somebody that you worked with in the past even. But in any case, Gemini, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great rest of March. Bye.